evening and welcome to Thai PBS World. The tense confrontation between US and China have been apparent, especially in the past few months and especially in the past few days. Yesterday was about South China Sea. Today it is about Hong Kong. Special treatment status has been ordered to stop by President Donald Trump. And how should Thailand see this geopolitics tension between the US and China, and how could Thailand revive foreign policy to cope with this fast change in terms of geopolitics and changing foreign policy? Thai PBS World tonight, Kun Thep Chayong and me talk to Dr. Panithan Wattanayakon, the expert on security affairs.
Yesterday, Prime Minister Prayut had a phone conversation with President Xi Jinping of China. Of course, officially it was to mark the 45th anniversary of Thai-Chinese diplomatic relations, right? But it happened to come hot on the heels of the decision by the Trump administration to penalize China by ending all the preferential treatment for Hong Kong in trade. And of course, also follow the decision by UK Prime Minister to ban Huawei equipment from the 5G system there. So what is the significance of this conversation between the two leaders?
I think it's, of course, significant in terms of reaffirming the long-term relationship between Thailand and the People's Republic of China.
And what do you think was the most important message that came out of the conversation for Thailand?
The message is that we are very happy to engage, and we look forward to strengthening up our relations in different areas, in trade in particular, in cultural. So I think it reaffirms that the road ahead will be even more closer between the two countries.
But how do you think this will be seen from the Western point of view? Would it be seen as Thailand leaning more toward China, or would it be seen as part of the balancing act by Thailand between China and Western countries?
Well, it's well known for Thailand to do a balancing act in a more complicated and complex way. But of course, European nations may increasingly worry about that act. I think some may favor. Well, all will trade with China for sure. But in terms of politics, in terms of security, they may be more worried about engagement between China and different countries. It happens that Thailand engages more with the US in terms of security and military. So that will be quite comfortable for Thailand to explain to these countries that we are not moving away from the US engagement.
But the US is moving toward the election in November, but probably the US is going to step up their game in Indo-Pacific region. What's your take during this complicated juncture?
That reflects, I think the American voters are concerned also about the role of the Chinese in the world. I think no matter who wins the November election, I think this trend may not change in terms of American thinking about rise of China. I think you will see the current president, the new president continue trying to engage, if not contain, China in many areas. So it's important for ASEAN to stay together, to have our own roadmap on how to engage with China and with the US. The Asia, Indo-Pacific, ASEAN Indo-Pacific outlook, that piece of document is very important. That's a blueprint for ASEAN countries to engage with the two countries without having these two giant, two superpower pulling small ASEAN country away, from the centrality that ASEAN is trying to nurture.
Yeah. In principle, it seems beautiful to have ASEAN as a unit. But in reality, especially with the issue of South China Sea, we can see how yesterday, when Mike Pompeo came out to blame China that they act illegally, and that involved with at least 4 countries of ASEAN who try to claim the South China Sea as well.
Yes.
So how would Thailand should remain, or what should be the take of Thailand on this case?
Well, I think Thailand may have to work harder trying to go between different countries on this issue. on one hand, the Chinese built up in this area is ongoing and will continue to grow in the future. But on the other hand, you will see the U.S. and alliances may raise more concern, may try to support smaller ASEAN nations which are increasingly concerned about the role of the Chinese. So Thailand is in the middle. So we are in the middle trying to make sure that peace, stability, prosperity, the three important areas that we signed the agreement with the U.S. will be maintained for ASEAN.
So it's quite a challenge then for ASEAN to make sure that it doesn't get divided by this increasing geopolitical rivalries between two superpowers, right?
Exactly, especially in the environment that both superpowers are now stepping up their temptation, their offers, their support for these different smaller countries. We are not affected, so we are not really persuaded by both agreements because we are not a stakeholder. So we are in the middle. In this sense, it should give the Thailand a very unique position to be able to be a bridge to go in between. I think the Thai approach will be bringing people, countries together to work.
And for the case of telecom like Huawei, which is the UK is very much under pressure until they have to announce the ban of using Huawei equipment. What if Thailand is caught in the middle between the US and China, like this case? What do you think should be the path of Thailand?
Well, this is a very difficult and challenging issue. For the time being, I think the decision has not been made clearly, like any other countries that you mentioned. But it could be done that in certain areas that are sensitive to the security and military operations can be re-examined. But it's not easy. It's not easy. You need cooperation from China. You need cooperation. You need understanding from the US. And you need to be very careful in selecting. And in the end, it's also about cost effectiveness. So these have to be worked out in the future. Surprisingly, some of the countries changed their mind in the last few months and switched side. Thailand has not done yet, but we are now evaluating that. Then the National Security Council has a special group working on this issue. So I'm very confident that they will make a right decision.
But on these questions, we know that Thailand has been conducting an independent foreign policy, right, based on national interests. But would there be any pressure from countries like the US in the near future, for Thailand to keep a distance from China because of the increasing geopolitical rivalry between them? Do you anticipate that kind of pressure from the US?
Well, I think the distance, comfortable distance has to be kept between Thailand and partners in general. And that's a classic, typical Thai diplomacy. As you notice, we've never been close or too close for comfort for anyone. So I think that's a typical position. The real challenge is how to explain that comfort zone to your different partners, or how to compensate the concern on one to the other. I think that's a challenge.
And that's all from Thai PBS World tonight. Thank you very much for watching.